Good afternoon, students. The next topic that we are going to see in this chapter is on social change. Okay, I've left social process for now. We'll finish the third chapter, and then come back to social process. Okay, let's see what social change is. This is a very important topic and a common question. Social change, invariably, every alternate years you get in your university exam. Change, you all know what change is. Change means matram. So everything in this world is changing all the time. So that's why it's called change is the law of nature. So same way society also changes. Individuals change. You have changed when you were born, you were a small baby. Now you are grown up. In another 10 years, you will have a different lifestyle. You will look different. Another 30 years from now, you will look much more different. Okay, so that is how change is. Everything changes. Nothing in this world is remaining the same. Even the people around us, the things around us, the technology around us, everything changes. Especially in this era, modern era, there is a lot of rapid change because of the development that is happening. In the last 50 years, you know how many governments have changed. The family has changed. Religion has changed. Initially religion also, people were having certain customs. Now the customs of the religions have changed. For example, I'll tell you one example. Previously, outside a church, everybody used to leave their footwear. Now some people wear their footwear inside the church. Same way temple. When you go inside the temple, the kind of dress that you wear, initially only saris were allowed. Now people are allowing chudidar. So like that, religion and the practices have changed. And like that, everything in the society is changing. So let us see what are the definitions of change, and then we'll see how change happens in the society. So change means something a difference which is happening and is observed over a period of time. Okay, so there are two definitions, simple definitions that I've taken for you. One is by Jones. Social change is a term used to describe variations or modifications in any aspect of social process, social patterns, social interaction, or social organization. You have studied in this chapter about social process, social interaction, social organization. So social change is the variation or modification in any aspect of all these things. Okay, if there is any change or any modification or any variation, any difference in the social process, pattern, interaction, or organization, then it is called social change. Then the next definition is social change is the change in the relationships. Human beings always have relationships with each other. So social change is the change in the relationship between individuals. Okay, so these are the definitions. So let us see the theories of social change. There are two main theoretical processes. One is the direction of social change, that is how the society changes. Next is the causes of social change. So let us see these theories. So in the direction of social change, we study about the theory of deterioration. Okay, so direction means what? How the social change is proceeding, in which way it is going. So right from World War I, we see that the people have changed. Then World War II came. Then the politics and the social structure, everything changed, because the United Nations was formed after the World War II. So the governments had to follow the rules of the United Nations. So like that, everything in the world has changed, especially after World War I and World War II. So we will see, based on the direction in which this change is happening, whether it is a positive thing or a negative thing, how this change is happening. So based on the direction, there are three theories. One is the theory of deterioration. Next is the cyclical theory. Third is the stage theory. So what is this theory of deterioration? Deterioration means becoming bad. So some people think that the world is deteriorating, becoming bad. Most of us may not agree to this. We will think the world is developing, it is becoming better. But the theory of deterioration says that the man, that is the ancient man who was living, he was the happiest person. and he was living in a golden era. So everything was good in that time. So there was a lot of, no pollution was there, no transport, no unnecessary technology was there, and everybody was satisfied. They were growing food, eating the food, hunting animals, eating the animals. So that's all. They did not go to work, they were not trying to earn money, they were not trying to cheat each other. So the simplest era was the ancient era. And now people have become bad, they are false, they are dishonest, selfish, and the age that we live in, the modern age, is called Kali Yuga. Okay, so this is the theory of deterioration, which says the ancient man was happy and it was a golden era. Now we are living in a Kali Yuga era, which is bad, and the world has deteriorated. The social change has become negative. That is the theory of deterioration. Then the cyclical theory or cyclic theory says every society has life, birth, growth, maturity, and decline. So for example, you would have studied in history about the Harappan civilization. So like that, many civilizations. So each of these civilizations were born, then they grew, they became mature, and then they declined. Even the Mughal era, then the even in Tamil Nadu, the Pandyas, Cholas, Cheras, all these kingdoms, they were born, and then the kingdom became big, it became mature. Finally the kingdom does not exist now. So like that, every society will have its growth, and then finally it will have a decline. So this theory says that the modern society is also in its last stage, and we are rapidly developing, and that history will repeat itself, and this modern era will also end. And this cyclical theory says after the present Kali Yuga there will be Satyug, where all the people will become honest again, truthful, and then people will be happy. So it will be like a cyclical or a circle. Now we are in the last stages where man is unhappy and difficult life, and then it will end and a Satyug will start where everybody will be happy and a new era will start. That is a cyclic theory. Then the stage theory, this Auguste Comte told this theory. We will study about this theory in detail because it comes in your 10-mark question. So when we study about the contribution of Auguste Comte, we will study about the stage theory. He says that there are 3 stages in social change. The first thing is the theological change, which is the religious. So man explains everything based on God and supernatural power. Then the metaphysical. So that is explained on what is present in the world. And third stage, which we live now, is the positive stage. So these are the 3 stages which he told will happen, and this kind of change happens in the society. So this is the 3 changes based on the direction of social change. Then we will see the causes of social change. So there are some sociologists who tell why social change is happening. So among them, the main thing is the deterministic theory. There are 2 theories which are under the deterministic theory. So both of these theories tell that the change is happening because of social aspects or natural aspects. Okay, so in the first one, Summer and Keller, the 2 sociologists, they tell that all the change in the world is based on the economic factors, that is financial aspects. And social change is an unconscious process. Nobody wants the change to happen, but change automatically happens. Okay, they also feel that religion is the main cause of social change. So there are 2 factors: economic change, religious change, and the change is unconscious. So this is according to Summer and Keller. Then we have studied about Sorokin, and he has told in his contemporary sociological theories that the culture and none of them is considered as primary. That is, the change is pluralistic. There are many different ways in which change happens. There is no single reason for it. That is, monoistic means single, pluralistic means many. So what Sorokin says is that changes are like different parts of the culture. You take the culture, for example, there are different parts to it, and every part of it keeps changing. So this is a pluralistic change. So all over the world, different cultures, different aspects, change happens. So this was Sorokin's theory. So these are the different theories with regard to social change. So let us see what are the characteristics of the social change, how social change is, what is the what happens when social change happens, okay, and how this social changes, what are the characteristics, what are the main highlights, features of social change. Okay, the first one is social change is a universal phenomenon. That means it's simple to understand, it occurs all over the world in everything. There is nothing that is permanent in this world, everything keeps changing. For example, even the non-living things, when it rains, the sand is washed away. When there is a river, the sand is washed away. The trees are small, they grow and then they die. So even non-living things keep changing. So in that way, all the living things, the technology, the population, the societies, primitive and civilized societies, everything changes. Only difference is the speed and extent of change. Some things change slowly, some things change fast, some things change completely, some things change only a little bit. So only the speed and extent of change is different, but social change is universal. Everything in this world will change. Then the next feature is social change is a community change. So that means it is not an individual who changes, but it's the community which changes. Of course, individuals also change because change is universal. Every individual will change, but just because one person changes, the society will not change. It is because the whole communities and every individual changes. That is why the change is called a community change, because every aspect of society will change. Then the speed of social change is not uniform. We already saw this. Some areas the change will be rapid, some areas the change will be full 100%, but other areas the change will be less. So this is the other feature of social change. Speed of social change is not uniform. Especially in village, the speed of change is lesser than the urban area. The transport system, everything changes rapidly in the urban area, the number of buildings that come up, whereas in a rural area, even after 10 years you will see only minimal changes. Then the nature and speed of social change is affected by and related to time factor. That is, as time goes, the social change will occur. If you plot a graph in Max, you would have made graphs x-axis, y-axis. If you plot time on one side and change on one side, as time increases, change also increases. So some societies, it progresses at a same pace, as if every 1 year there is some social change. But in some societies, like village societies, 10 years there may not be any change. Suddenly there will be some change, a new industry will form, and then another 10 years there are no change. So the nature and speed of social change is affected by and related to the time. Then the next feature is social change occurs as an essential law. That means, like, it is like a law, it is like it has to change. So it is based on the desire that people have and how they change. For example, when you have a cell phone, initially 10 years back we had a normal cell phone, and cell phone was used only for making phone calls. Then cell phone was started, people started using it to browse internet, then they started playing. Now cell phone is used to take photographs. So slowly, that is a way in which human desire changes. So everything we want to have it in one device, and we want to have it in our hand. People were using cell phones for only making calls. Now cell phones are used for watching movies, listening to songs, taking photographs, and so browsing internet. So like that, it is the desire of man to keep changing, to improve the technology, and that is why social change happens. Then definite prediction of social change is not possible. Though we say time will change, time will cause social change, we cannot predict how much will change, when it will change, whether it will change. So there are so many things that are very slow to change. For example, in India, the culture, the marriage laws, the untouchability, the social caste system. Just take the caste system for example. Though we have come away from the untouchability, there are still little bits of untouchability practiced all over the country, but mainly the caste system is still prevalent. You think in another 5 years the caste system will get abolished in India? No. Another 50 years? May not be. So like that, for generations we are having the caste system. So we cannot predict when it will end, when new things will start. Only thing is, industrialization will increase the speed of urbanization. That is, as industries develop, the cities will develop. That is the main thing that will happen. Then social change has a chain reaction sequence. That is, chain reaction means one change will lead to another change. That is chain reaction. Like a cycle chain, if you see, there are spokes which will go into the cycle chain. So one after the other, the spokes will go and the cycle. That is how the cycle moves. So same way, in the chain reaction, one thing will change, then another thing will change, then like that repeatedly, one after the other. For example, a simple way of explaining is, if you have your cell phone, if you buy a new cell phone, and then the company produces a newer version with the higher capacity, higher version, then what do? You also buy the new cell phone. Then what does the company do? They make still more sophisticated cell phone. Like that, one person depends on the other. When one changes, the other also changes. So as the company makes new cell phones, your needs change, you buy new one, then the company makes still more better one. So like that, social chain is a chain reaction. Then the next part is, social change results from the interaction of a number of factors. As we said, it is not one factor that is related. For example, in a city, the transportation system changes. In Chennai 10 years back there was no metro rail, but now there is metro rail. In future there may be other things. Like 10 years back only autos were there, rickshaws were there. Now you don't find rickshaws. Now you find only Ola cabs, Uber cabs. So like that, social change results from so many other factors, like how the technology develops, how people want. Nobody wants to go by a rickshaw because it will take a lot of time, and people do not want to stress one human being to press the cycle. So people would rather go by auto than go by rickshaw. So that is how various factors will change the social change. Then finally, social change is mainly responsible for the modification of replacement. Okay, one thing again, we can go to the cell phone example, but if you see, and if you want a new example, what food do we eat? When you were small, what food did your parents give you? They gave you rice, they gave you things made of wheat and maida. But now what do you eat? You prefer to eat pizza, you want other things, you want like chicken burger. So like that, your food needs have changed, and people want newer food items. Like 20 years back, India, we did not have cornflakes, we did not have such things. Now everybody wants to have different kind of food. Same way, cell phone is another example. And even our relationship, how we relate to each other, that has changed. And how we travel, like olden days, people used to go by bullock carts, then they had horse chariots, then they had cycle rickshaws, then came the auto rickshaws. Now people go by Ola cabs, Uber cabs, and metro rail has come. So like that, everything is changing, and newer technology is replacing the old things. So these are the various characteristics of change. Okay, now we'll see the factors, general factors of change. Factors means causes. What are the causes of change? Okay, there are different causes of change. We have already seen in the characteristics of change, how change happens. We will also see how this change happens based on biological factors, physical factors, technology, and other factors. Okay, so in some areas the change is very less, very slow. Other areas change is very fast and very quick. So biological factors, these are some things which does not change very fast. For example, our human body, the genetics, does it change very quickly? It changes a little slowly. And even the coronavirus, for example, there is The coronavirus itself is mutating, it is changing. You would have seen in the news that there are different types of viruses. When it came, there was only one virus. So these are biological things. There's hereditary of successive generations. Human beings, they change a little slowly. For example, the number of girls and boys in society, it does not change overnight. For example, for every 1,000 males in the society, there are 990 women in the society. I'm just giving an example. Can there be 1,000 men and 1,000 women within 2 days? No, it will take a long time for that proportion to be corrected. So that is how biological factors change. It takes a long time. Then the physical factors. Physical factors means the geographical factors, how the nature which is surrounding us, how it causes change. For example, when there is an earthquake, when there is a storm, when there is a flood, there are changes happening. How does this change happen? People who are in an area which is repeatedly flooded, every year if the flood comes, what will they do? Instead of losing all their things, they will go to a different place and start living there. So the nature has an effect on the change of human society. So the same thing happens when there is a storm. You know that there near Rameswaram, there was a place called Dhanushkodi. In 1960s there was a storm, and because of that the whole town got damaged. So now it is a ghost town, nobody is staying there. So that is how the storms, the nature can change the society, and so social change happens. Next we come to the technological factors, which are important things. Lot of technological changes have happened, and all the things that are around us are technologies. If you take cell phones, television, computers, automobiles, even the trains, they are running because of electricity, and all these things are technological things. And invention, industrialization, you would have studied about industrial revolution. So a lot of industries were started in the 1920s, and because of this, a lot of change has happened in the society. And in the present age, last 10 years, 20 years, you see there are so many changes is happening at a very fast pace. So technological factors of social change is very important. We'll see it in 4 different aspects. Change in the production technology, for example, how we produce things. For example, we can take 2 examples. One is the industrial production, then is the agricultural production. So in industrial production, we have started including women in the industry. For example, 50 years to 100 years back, there were very few women in the industry. They were all housewives. But now, if you take the shoe industry, if you take other industries, even doctors, educated scientists, and even now driving, an army, women are getting into every field. So that is a great change in the society. So production has changed the way humans live in this world, and women are having a new type of social life. Same thing in the agricultural community, we have started using different tools. And if you would have seen olden days, people were using bullock carts to plow the field, and they were doing everything manually. Now in western countries, if you see, and even in India, there are machines for everything. For harvesting there is machine, for putting seeds inside there is machine, for plowing there is machine. So this is the change in the technology for production. Next is the change in the method of communication. This is very simple, you will all understand very easily. One way of communication is a human using hand, voice, verbal and non-verbal communication. But the other communication is using technology. So olden days, cell phone was not there. There was this landline phone. Before that, there was only people had to go to the telephone exchange or to the post office to make trunk calls. So from that it became landline phones. Then everybody started having landline phones. Then now everybody has cell phones, and now cell phone is not only used for just communication but so many other things. We also have radio, television, telegraph. So all these things have changed the society. So technology has improved the communication and made a lot of changes in the society. Then change in the method of transportation. I already told you how ancient man used to walk. Then when the wheel was invented, people used bullock carts, then horse drawn chariots, then cycle rickshaws, auto rickshaws, now cabs. So that is how people have changed in the method of transportation. Now we even fly from one country to another, and we have metro trains in all the major cities. So this is how transportation has changed over the years. Then the next thing is the invention effects. So when we do a lot of invention, then the change happens rapidly. So for example, it influences the customs. For example, people, what they did, they started having slavery in US when the cotton was not able to cultivate. But now slavery is abolished and people use technology to do the cotton cultivation. So that is how the social change also happens. From slavery, now US does not have slavery. Initially, for the sake of change, slavery was introduced. Then slavery has been abolished because of improvement in technology. So there is a lot of social change because of technological changes. Then social inventions can cause social changes. For example, when we make invention, what is an invention? Finding a new thing which saves time or saves money. For example, when you used to go by cycle rickshaw, I don't know if you remember cycle rickshaw. There is a rickshaw where people press the pedal. So if you had gone, it will take at least half an hour to go from Karigiri to Katpadi. Whereas if you go by bike, it will take 5 to 10 minutes. So that is an invention. Bike is a new invention. Car is a new invention. Like that, there are so many inventions that have changed the society. Same way, there are social inventions like non-cooperation movement, boycott. For example, you see different kinds of, like the last 2 years back, Tamil farmers went to the Delhi and they had skeleton around their neck and they were protesting. So like that, different kinds of protests. This causes social change. The social invention in the society causes social change. Then we come to cultural factors. Okay, we have finished the technological factors. We go to the cultural factors of change. Okay, so what are cultural factors of change? In every society, the culture is interrelated. In Vellore, for example, we have people from different cultures. We have people from Kerala, we have people from Andhra Pradesh, we have people from Tamil Nadu, North India. So all these people, when we live together, the culture keeps changing. People from Kerala, they learn Tamil culture. People from Tamil Nadu, we learn Kerala culture. And then we create a new culture. So when people mix with each other, it creates new culture and the behavior changes, new relationships are formed. For example, if a North Indian person marries a South Indian person, then they learn to eat each other's food. The North Indian will not say, I don't eat rice, I want only chapati. The South Indian will not say, I won't eat chapati, I'll eat only rice. Slowly, over a period of time, they learn to adjust with each other, and that is how society changes based on the cultural changes. The next change is the economic factors. We already saw how economy changes the society. Economy means the income levels and expenditure levels. For example, 50 years back, how much did a electrician earn? How much did a driver earn? How much did a mason earn in India? They were earning very little, but now they earn much more than a lot of people. They earn as much as a teacher earns. They earn as much as sometimes even a doctor earns, MBBS doctor. So like that, people income level has changed, so they are able to buy more things. Their society has changed because of this. That is why cell phone is penetrated so much into the society, because everybody is able to afford it. So that is how economic factors can change the society. It has an effect on the health of the people, marriage of people, divorce rate, suicide, crime, everything. It has a role. Then we come to the environmental factors. So what is environmental factor? The things that are around us, the environment, that is the sky, the trees, the plants. So this is changing over a period of time. You would have heard about climate change, how the pollution that we cause is causing change in the environment. So that leads to more floods, more earthquakes, and more cyclones. So this can change the society also. So it's like the one of the features of social change was the cyclical nature. That is, when we affect the nature, nature affects us back. When we cause pollution, nature causes more floods. When we cause more pollution, it causes more cyclones. So this can lead to a lot of social changes. So these are the environmental factors. Then we come to the psychological factors. See, man is a social animal and he likes change. Nobody likes to be the same. Do you like to be in the same class? Do you want to study in the first year medical sociology for 3 years or 5 years? No. You want to finish first year, then you want to go to second year, third year, then you want to get a job and start earning money. So human beings want change. If you ask a small child if he wants to be a big person or a small person, the child will say, I want to be a big person. If you ask a old person whether they want to be young or old, they'll say, I want to be young. So everybody wants change. Nobody wants to be the same. So this is based on the mind of the human being. So that affects the social change. So these are the psychological factors. Then there are other factors, that is the factors like change in the attitude towards dowry, caste system, female education. People now want their girls also to be educated. Previously, if the boy in the family is educated, that was enough. Even now in some families it happens. So like that, there are a lot of sociologists and politicians who have changed the world. So these are the other factors that have changed the society and caused social change. Okay, now we come to another topic, which is resistance to change. Okay, we have seen change happens, but we know that human beings like change. But does everybody like change? For example, you have a new cell phone, you give it to your old people in your house, grandparents. Will they be able to operate it as quickly as you operate it? No. You are young and so you are able to accept change easily, but an older person will be able to find it difficult to accept change. So like that, there is some resistance to change. So let us see what are the resistance to change. The first thing is the inertia. Inertia means if somebody pushes you, or for another example is when the bus suddenly puts a brake, what happens? You keep going forward even though the bus is stopped. That is inertia. So when there is change in the society, people are moving fast along with the change. But people who are not used to the change, they are not able to keep pace. They are very slow. So the mental capacity of some people cannot accept change and they try to fight that change. So that inertia is not there. Then the habit. So for example, every day if you come by, if you use the cell phone for browsing and for taking photos and for calling, suddenly if I take the cell phone away from you for 10 days, what will happen? It will become very difficult for you. It is difficult for you to change your life to a life without cell phone. Okay, so because your habit is that every day you are using cell phones for everything. So our habits cause a resistance to change. Then the customs and traditions. For example, the world is full of different cultures. We have different customs and traditions. So when the customs and traditions are there, they prevent change and they do not allow change. For example, will any of us walk inside our temple with a footwear, or walk inside a mosque with a footwear, or walk inside the church with a footwear? We will not, because our forefathers have told us not to walk with the footwear. Even inside our house, most of us do not wear footwear. And the type of dress we wear, suddenly will you wear a western type of dress, or suddenly will you wear a different kind of thing? Even people do not want to wear masks even though it will affect their health. Because of coronavirus, the government is telling you should wear masks, but because our custom and tradition is not to wear masks, we do not want to change. So this is another resistance to change. Then vested interest. Vested interest means you do not want to change, because if you change you will lose something. Okay, for example, if you will lose your income because of some change. For example, if you are running a tea shop and suddenly the government is telling close the tea shop uh, because we are going to build a road, then you will go and fight with the government because you do not want to lose the income. So that is your personal interest. You are not thinking of the interest of the public. Where the road is laid, the public will benefit. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but vested interest was one of the reasons why people resist change. Then lack of proper knowledge. For example, 10 years back, 15, 20 years back, computers were introduced in the banks, and even now computers are used in the health system. So older people who were never used to the computers, now they had to learn to use the computer, but they did not have the knowledge. So because of that, people were resisting change. They did not want change. Okay. Then the desire for stability. Change always brings instability. When things change in your family, for example, if somebody gets a transfer, your father or mother gets a transfer, there is a lot of change in the family. They get up early in the morning, they have to cook in the morning and give you things. See how your life changed from when you were in school and when you were in college. Your life has changed, your parents' life has changed. Okay. And then when you start working, when you go out of Vellore, when you go to a different place, how does your life change? It changes differently. So people prefer the same stable life. They do not want instability. So that is why people resist change. Then the suspicion. So when change happens, people are suspicious of it. What will happen? Whether it is good for the good, whether something bad will happen because of change. So that fear, that suspicion, that prevents people from changing. A lot of people, when we tell them to get vaccination for against some diseases, they are very scared. They think that because of vaccinations some other disease will come. So they are very scared, and they do not want this kind of things to happen. So they are having suspicion against change. So this is the other aspect of resistance to change. Then we will see the measures of social change. What are the measures? How can we see that society is changed? There are different ways in which we can see the society's change. First is the nutrition. So the amount of food that you eat, that tells that society is changed. In a developed country, the amount of food that people consume is much more than an underdeveloped country, or a poor family will eat much less than a rich family. So the nutrition level tells about the change. The amount of calories that you consume, the amount of protein that you consume, that is a measure of the change. Then the type of cloth that you wear, or the quantity that you wear. I remember when I was a small boy, we used to get only one new dress per year. Okay, that was other than the uniform. For only for Christmas, one dress we will get. But now, more and more development of the economy, it has become easier to buy clothes. So people buy 2 or 3 clothes per year, or even more than that. So the clothing and the quantity and the type of cloth that you use is a measure of the social change. Then the house. Previously we were having joint family. That means 4 or 5 brothers and sisters used to live together with their families. So one house is enough for 25-30 people. But now nuclear families, only 3 to 4 people live in one house. So the number of houses needed is more. And a lot of people have more than one house also. So this measures the social change, how the income is improved and how they have become better. The next one is the health. The number of hospitals. Previously only CMC was there in Vellore. Now there is government Adukambare Medical College, and now Naruvi Hospital is there. So many hospitals are there. New beds are there, and number of doctors have increased. So this is a measure of social change. Then the education, literacy level, women literacy level. How many women are educated? Previously even men never used to go to schools. Then slowly boys were educated. Then the women have been educated. Now the women are studying graduation, then post graduation. So the amount of literacy or education in a community is a measure of its social change. Then the media exposure, communication, energy, that is how many TVs in your house, how many cell phones that you have, and how much of electricity that you consume. So all these are methods of measuring the change in your family or in the society. For example, how many people have air conditioners, and some people have more than one air conditioner in their house. So some people have every room air conditioning. So all these will mean that they are improving, they are developing, and social change is happening. Then the birth and death, the number of people who die during childbirth, that is a measure of the society's health. Then the age at which people are dying. In 50 years back, the average life expectancy of Indians was around 60 years. Now it is increased to 75 years, and in western countries it is even more to 80-85 years. So that means the number of people who die is very less, and they live for longer periods of time. Why is this? It is because of the change in the society and development of the society. So social change you can measure with the birth and death of people. Then the urbanization, that is number of cities and the population living in cities. So all these factors will help us in measuring the change in the society. Okay, so these are the measures of social change. So with this we have finished the social change topic. There's only one more topic in this chapter, which is social process, which I will finish for you after we finish the contributions of the well-known sociologists. After that chapter is over, I will complete the social process topic. Thank you.